Hello everybody, quick celebratory video to celebrate reaching 1,000 subscribers on YouTube. To mark this grand occasion, we're going to have another look at the concerto Proteus, or The World Turned Upside Down. A couple of weeks ago we recorded our second album of Vivaldi Double Concertos, and the final concerto for that album is that concerto, but the later version of the concerto where Vivaldi added flutes, oboes and solo harpsichord to the solo lines of the violin and cello. The original version of the concerto, however, we will be playing next month. I was putting the programme together yesterday and I just thought I'd go to the manuscript just to check that he hasn't changed any movement, tempi or anything like that. And there was something that I noticed about when we recorded the later version, about his use of the title. If you have a look, for instance, this is the opening page of the solo violin part of the later version. It's very clear that he writes Il Proteo, then there's a big gap, or The World Turned Upside Down, Il mondo, rovverscio. If you have a look at first violin part, same thing, Proteus, space, or The World Turned Upside Down. And then if we just have a look at the cello part, Proteo, or The World Turned Upside Down. So there's this space is rather significant. Now, when I actually edited, when I was doing my concerto a day thingy in the first lockdown, I actually edited the original version of this concerto, but I did not notice one significant fact. If we have a look at the, so it is, it exists in Vivaldi's personal manuscript collection in Turin, and it's possible that Vivaldi himself bound all his works into various volumes. And Proteus is the first concerto in what we call the volume called Giordano 28, which Vivaldi has called Concerti a più voci, which means concerti with more voices, or if you like, instrumental parts. So not necessarily just solo concertos, though there are solo concertos in here as well. So if you have a look at the front page of Proteus, there's a lot of Vivaldi's written a huge number of instructions as to how, who should play what and how you should play it. But if you actually have a look at the title, it's very clear, actually, that this concerto was initially conceived not as Proteus or The World Turned Upside Down, but Il Proteo, ossia Proteus, or has been added later in a different ink. So, as I always assumed that the viola line, which sort of drones on through the first movement, is representative of Proteus, who is this god, the shape-changing river deity, who if you grasp him hard enough, he reverts to his original shape. But maybe it's because if you turn the world upside down, there's a bit in the middle that always stays the same. So who knows? Anyway, just in case, for those of you, those doubting Thomases amongst you, if you doubt that, if you have, I mean, it's so clear that Il mondo rovverscio has been written bang in the centre. And if you have a look at some of the other works there you go, concerto for 2 violins and 2 organs, bang in the centre. That's a rather interesting movement. The next one is concerto for violin and cello. That's straight in the centre again. This one's quite confusing because there's a load of instructions by Vivaldi to the left, but the title's there, Concerto for Violin and 2 Cellos. If you go on one more, you get Concerto for Violin without the E string, straight in the middle, and then one more, you've got Concerto for 3 violins. So there you go. Maybe that will change our interpretation for Proteus. Maybe we should advertise it as the world turned upside down. It's interesting because when you look at these titles in CD booklets or in books or whatever, you don't see all that. You just get the title. But anyway, there you go. 1,000 followers. Great.